Hey guys, okay, I had a couple of questions. Question number one, how do you benefit from a hybrid? How are you going to use the hybrid to the best of your abilities? And what's the technique? Is there any specific technique to hit the hybrid? And I'm going to answer that. And the second question was, how do you hit the ball higher? And I'll address both as we do this. So you'll notice the hybrid, the club in the middle, is not as wide as the fairway wood, and it's wider than the iron. Okay? So when it comes time to hitting the ball out of the rough, it does a much better job than the fairway would, because number one, the sole is narrower, and it also does a better job than a long iron, because notice the face of the club is not as tall. Okay? The iron is much taller, so therefore more resistance in the grass. So the hybrid's a great club for squirting the ball out of the rough. Okay? So if I had an iron in my hands, basically the technique is where I'm gonna be taking a divot, and I'm hitting down and through the golf ball. There we go. Alright, so you notice caught the ball first, then took the divot. Well, that's a very viable way to hit the hybrid. Okay? So I'm going to hit down and through the golf ball with the hybrid and hit it just like an iron. Notice it's got that nice low penetrating trajectory. If it's sitting down a little more in the rough, then I want to feel the sole of the club deflect off the ground. As you can see, took a nice divot, and then we can plow it out a little lower from the rough. That was really well struck right there. That took straight out of the rough, and I can hit it like a fairway would. The fairway wood, if you remember, we got a perfect skipping stone right here. So we want to feel the sole of the club deflect or skip off that turf. Same thing here. Feel the sole of that golf club deflect firmly off the turf like a skipping stone. Ooh, that feels good. Same thing here. So if I'm going to hit the ball higher, I want to hit my hybrid like a fairway would, and I'm just focusing on the sole of the club deflecting off the turf. Now, the part of the stone that hits the water first, obviously, is the back half of the stone, not the front half. So I want the back half of the golf club, or a little more than half of the golf club, the trailing edge of the club, to skip the ground first. That way it stays along the surface of the ground. So we're looking for a nice skip. That gives me a much higher ball flight. So to get the skip, you'll notice I have to have some decent tilt. Okay? So if we look at the tilt of my spine, the more tilt I have, the more through the ball I can swing, and the higher the ball is going to go. But you don't want to tilt at the expense of your balance. If I tilt too much, now I've obviously compromised my golf swing, and this particular tilt is going to cause me a lot of problems. Obviously, I'm going to have a tendency to hit the ground before the ball. So I want to make sure that my tilt is stacked through both hips, knees, and ankles. Okay? So whether I have a pitching wedge in my hands or a hybrid, notice I'm maintaining this tilted position back and through. Watch Lorena Ochoa in her first move down. You'll see the first thing she does is tilt her head severely. This causes the club to come down on a more inside, shallower path into the golf ball and releases everything towards the target. If I'm skipping a stone on water, it allows that elbow to lead the hand and the hand to lead the fingers. So get maximum sling through the golf ball. So to hit the ball high and to hit the ball far, so those two go hand in hand, you want ideal tilt and you want the ideal sequence coming through the ball. So that elbow's got to come first. If I lose my tilt, I also lose that elbow position. Now I'm releasing everything early and I'm losing a lot of precious power. Okay? So set your tilt properly. Notice the top of the spine is supported by my right side. The bottom of the spine is supported by my left side. So it's a little bit of a pre-turn and pre-tilt, if you wish. All right? From this side here, see how the tilt looks? It's going to feel now how it's going to feel like your arms want to get raked to the inside. So you're going to use that tilt for trajectory, but then you want to focus on width. All right? Use those hips to toss those arms into the backswing so you get nice width in the swing so that your arms don't get raked to the inside. Then you're really going to hit the ground before the ball, top the shot, or push it to the right. So set your tilt. Toss it wide. And as you come through, you'll get a much wider release through that golf ball. One more. All right. Slight pull, but solid shot. Hope you enjoyed that.